There was a moment, roughly 4 billion years ago in mythological time, when the universe almost ended. Not from a war, not from a demon, from poison. Pure, undiluted, cosmic poison that bubbled up from the bottom of the ocean and threatened to dissolve everything that existed. Gods, demons, humans, animals, plants, stars, all of it. Every atom of creation was about to be liquefied by a venom so potent that even the fumes were killing immortals. And in that moment, when every being in existence was running away, one god walked toward it. He sat down. He cupped the poison in his hands, and he drank it. This is the story of Shiva and the Hala Hala, and it is the most metal thing any deity has ever done in any mythology, anywhere, ever. Let us go back to the beginning. The Devas, the gods, and the Asuras, the demons, had a problem. They were both getting weaker. The universe was aging, entropy was winning, and someone suggested that if they churned the cosmic ocean, the Kshuta Sagara, the ocean of milk, they could extract Amrita, the nectar of immortality. The problem was that churning an entire ocean requires absurd amounts of power, more than either side had alone. So the Devas and Asuras made a temporary truce, the most unlikely alliance in cosmic history. They would churn together and share the nectar. They used Mount Mandara as the churning rod and Vasuki, the king of serpents, as the rope. Vishnu took the form of Kurma, a giant tortoise, and dove to the bottom of the ocean to support the mountain on his back so it would not sink. The Devas grabbed one end of the serpent, the Asuras grabbed the other, and they began to churn. For centuries. And extraordinary things began to emerge from the ocean. Kamadhenu, the wish-fulfilling cow. Airavata, the white elephant who would become Indra's mount. Uchaishravas, the divine seven-headed horse. Kaustuba, the most precious gem in existence. Lakshmi herself, the goddess of wealth and fortune, rising from the ocean on a lotus flower. Treasure after treasure after treasure. Both sides were getting excited, pulling harder, churning faster, and then something went wrong. Terribly, catastrophically wrong. Before the Amrita could emerge, the ocean released something else. Hala Hala, the poison of cosmic dissolution, the anti-nectar, the opposite of immortality. It came up as a dark blue-black cloud of pure destruction, and it immediately began spreading. The fumes alone started killing. Trees withered for thousands of miles. Rivers evaporated. Gods who breathed it in began choking, their divine bodies burning from the inside. The Asuras were equally affected. This was not a weapon that chose sides. This was entropy itself in liquid form. Oblivion given physical substance. Every being in creation began to panic. The Devas ran to Vishnu. Vishnu said, "I cannot help with this." The Asuras ran to Brahma. Brahma said, "There is nothing I can do." Think about that. The creator of the universe and the preserver of the universe both said, "This is beyond me." There is only one being in all of existence who can handle this, and that being was sitting on a mountaintop, deep in meditation, with matted hair and ash-covered skin, completely unaware that the universe was dying. Or so everyone thought. The Devas and Asuras rushed to Mount Kailash and begged Shiva for help. And Shiva opened his eyes. He looked at the poison clouds spreading across the sky. He looked at the dying gods and demons groveling at his feet. He did not say, "Let me think about it." He did not ask for anything in return. He did not set conditions. He just stood up and walked toward the poison. Every being in creation watched as Shiva, the ascetic, the recluse, the god who wants nothing and needs nothing and sits alone on a frozen mountain by choice, approached the Hala Hala. He gathered it in his hands, all of it, every drop, every fume, the complete, concentrated essence of cosmic destruction, and he drank it. He lifted it to his lips and he drank it like water, and the universe held its breath. Because here is the thing about Hala Hala. It cannot be destroyed. Even Shiva cannot destroy it. He can only contain it. The poison entered his throat and began burning. Even a god's body is not immune to the poison of dissolution. The pain must have been beyond comprehension. The substance that could end all of reality was now sitting in his throat, burning through divine flesh. Parvati, his wife, was watching, and in an act that is remembered as one of the greatest moments of love in any mythology, she rushed forward and pressed her hand against Shiva's throat. She held the poison there. She would not let it go down to his stomach, where it might destroy him from within, and she would not let it come back up, where it would poison the world again. She held it in his throat. That single gesture, that pressing of her palm against the blue-black burning skin of her husband's neck, is one of the most powerful images in Hindu art. The poison stayed in Shiva's throat forever. It turned his throat blue, a deep, luminous, permanent blue. And from that day forward, Shiva has been called Nilakantha, the blue-throated one. He did not destroy the poison. He holds it inside himself. Every moment of every day, for all of eternity, Shiva is holding the poison that would end the universe inside his own throat. He is in constant pain, and he never complains. He never mentions it. He just sits on his mountain, meditates, and holds the world's destruction inside himself so that everything else can exist. That is Shiva. That is who he is. Not the destroyer, like people casually call him, the container of destruction, the one who takes the thing that would end everything and holds it inside himself so that nothing else has to. And if that does not tell you something about sacrifice, about what it actually means to protect the people you love, then I do not know what will.